Hey guys, so I'm here to do my birth story. I can't believe it was 6 days ago already that I had him. So yeah, I don't have him with me today, so you won't get to see him. He is, well, I mean, he's here, but he's asleep. I just fed him, and so he's crashed out in the bassinet in the living room, so I don't want to move him, and my parents are out there with him, so I took the chance to come in and do my video. Okay, so it'll probably be 2 parts, maybe 3. I'm gonna try to give you a lot of details, but also not bore you for like an hour. It did get kind of interesting. Definitely not the labor I imagined, and definitely one I don't want to repeat. So anyways, I'll just get to the story. I was going to record it, and I'm so bummed about that, you have no idea. I started recording. They were fine with me recording at the hospital, but things got so crazy at the end. I just couldn't get it recorded. I did get some pictures though, and I do have clips from me in the hospital before it got too crazy, and I'll put together a video with all those. But anyways, if you see me reading, I have it kind of typed out, so yeah. So my induction was set for 7:30. That night, on the 12th, the night before, I didn't get to sleep until like 11:30 or something like that. And then I woke up at 4 on that morning, and I could not get back to sleep. So I was up for like 3.5 hours before I needed to be there. I was going crazy. I ended up getting there early. I got there at 7, got checked in, hooked me up to the monitors, checked me for dilation, and I had made no progress since the week before. I was still like 80% effaced, or 70-80% effaced, and I was still not dilated at all. So I had to stay on the monitors for half an hour. And so they could chart everything before my doctor came in. And then at like 7:45 he came in. He was like, well, Michelle, I have a bit of a dilemma. And I was like, oh, well, what's that? And he's like, you haven't made any progress, so going off your last appointment, guessing that he's going to be, you know, around like 8 pounds or so, I'm fine with you going an extra week if you want to. I could send you home. You could hope that you go into labor naturally, or we can just continue with the induction. Either way, you know, your choice. And he said, the thing was, if I went another week, I'd have a higher risk of C-section because he would be too big. But also at the same point, any induction also slightly raises the chance of C-section, because, you know, it's forcing your body to do something that it's not ready to do. So he told me that. I was already there. I was ready to have the baby. I was done being pregnant, and I really did not want a C-section, and I felt like if I said I'd go home and I came back at 40 weeks, I felt like I would definitely end up having a C-section. So I just told him we'd just go on with the induction however he wanted to do it, and we'd have the baby. So we had decided, I had told you in my pregnancy vlogs, we decided that we were going to use a Foley catheter to help dilate me. That's the bulb that goes into the cervix, blows up on the other side of the cervix, and then every once in a while they would tug it until it came out. So they went ahead and inserted that, and that actually wasn't that bad. I expected it to be a lot more painful. The worst part was they had to use a speculum to open me up, and they had to open me up like fairly wide so they could like see up there and everything, you know. And that was what hurt the most. I didn't even feel the catheter go in. like into my cervix, and then there was like a slight kind of little pressure when they filled up the balloon with the water, and then that was it. And afterwards, I didn't feel like I didn't have pain or anything. Uh, they tugged on it, and I'd feel like a slight pressure, but it didn't hurt. So the doctor did the first pull, and then stayed there. My mom did a second pull uh, with the doctor there, so because she was going to be the one that was doing it every 15 minutes, so the nurse didn't have to run in. And the doctor was like, "Yep, good job." And he told me that I could be mobile, I could take off my monitors, and I could go for a walk on the hospital. In fact, they encouraged it. And so I was like, okay, great, because I was already done being in the hospital bed. So I got up, went, put my robe on, went for a walk. It was kind of like hanging out of me, the end of the catheter. You couldn't see it, but I could feel it, so it was weird. But uh, I ran into a couple of my coworkers, talked to them a little bit, talked to my husband, and 15 minutes later, I went back into my room, and it was time to get another pool. So I laid down, and my mom went to pull, and it came out. And for a split second, I was just super excited because I was like, wow, I dilated really fast. And then I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm not sure if that's like right, because the doctor said it takes anywhere between 2 to 4 hours. Like, it usually doesn't take any less than that. So I was like, 45 minutes. I don't, and so we called in the nurse. The nurse looked like we were crazy when she came in. She's like, "Oh, what's the matter?" And I was like, and my mom's like, "Oh, well, the catheter came out," and she looked at us like we had kind of lost it, maybe, we didn't realize that it was still in there or something, nice about it. It was just she looked at us like kind of surprised, and she's like, "Oh, wow, yes it did." And like mom's holding it, and uh, I'm just kind of laying on the bed, and she's like, "Okay, well, I'll go call the doctor." So she went, and she came back probably like, let me look, sorry. I'm trying to look at my notes. Okay, she came back like 20 minutes later or whatever, and said she talked to the doctor and said that the doctor had said my cervix was so unfavorable it basically like rejected the Foley. Like, my cervix was so hard and pushed back that the Foley just kind of like slithered its way through, and didn't actually dilate me. So yeah, that was great. So the next step was to insert Cytoprep, which I found out is actually a heartburn medication, which was interesting. It was just like a little white tablet, and the nurse stuck it up into me and rubbed it on my cervix. And then I had to lay in bed for a half an hour while it dissolved. And let me think. About an hour after it was inserted, I started getting my first like real contractions. I could tell they were different than the ones I had before. I can't even tell you how I could tell. They were just like a different feeling. It was just, and it's so funny because people always tell you that and when you're pregnant, you're like, how am I supposed to know? I'm in pain all the time, and you do. I mean, the first ones didn't really hurt, it was just more like this weird pressure and kind of an odd feeling in my, like, with the sides of my stomach and my back. And that's where they actually started with me, like my back, and they stayed there pretty much the whole time. So I was feeling them in my back. I was like, that's interesting. But it wasn't horrible, so I went on another walk, talked to my husband again, all that good stuff, and that actually helped even more. Like, I started having more contractions while I was out walking. came back to my room a little bit later. I was probably out for like half an hour maybe or so walking. So I came back and they checked me again. Oh no, sorry, I lied. I came back and I sat in bed pretty much and just, talked to mom and stuff. The setup prep had to be in my cervix for 4 hours before they would check me again, because it doesn't really do anything in that time, in less than that time. So I sat there for 4 hours. At 1:30, they came in and the nurse checked me again, and I was 2 centimeters. So I was like, yay, I'm finally moving in the right direction. So yeah. Anyways, I'm going to make a part 2 now. So switch over.